Solfeggietto is an intermediate level technical showpiece that every pianist should learn at some point. You'll love playing it, and it's an audience pleaser that sounds more difficult than it is. In today's video, I'll guide you step by step in learning this piece. You'll learn tips for playing fast and clean and even. I'll show you how to play this expressively with early classical period style dynamics and articulation. I'll also show you how to overcome common technical challenges and show you patterns in the music that will help you learn this piece quicker. You can get this piece in Applause Book 1. I'm teaching the pieces in this book in a series on this channel, so I encourage you to buy the book. I've linked it in the description below, and then watch my complete lessons on the pieces. As always, I've included timestamps in the description below so that you can jump ahead or revisit sections in this video. I want to quickly talk about the style of this piece. C.p.e. Bach was the second son of Johann Sebastian Bach, and he wrote this piece in the early classical period for the first pianoforte. So dynamic shading was possible. And early classical pieces like this had dramatic dynamic contrast and emotion. And we'll get into how to do this a little bit later in the video. The rhythm in this piece is fairly straightforward because it's mostly continuous 16th notes. So you could start out counting for 16th notes, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. But eventually try to shift over to 4 beats per measure because of the 4/4 time signature. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The only rhythm variation you'll see is starting at bar 22, careful of the half rests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In most editions, this piece is marked prestissimo, which means to play extremely fast. But remember, it's more important to play clean and even than it is to play crazy fast. I do recommend that you practice this piece with the metronome sometimes so that you can learn to maintain a steady tempo throughout and gradually work up the numbers. I usually have my students start around 50 for quarter notes. So that would be 4 beats per measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But some students really struggle doing this. So you can double the number and have the metronome ticking for 8th note. So you would get a beat every other 16th note. Double, 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 double. And then just gradually work up the tempo. A truly prestissimo tempo would be probably around 168 for quarter notes. Crazy. But a more realistic tempo for students is around 120 to 132. So this is 132. And the problem that I hear when students practice with the metronome is unwanted accents. So be careful. I hear this. So if you're practicing with the metronome, make sure that you're playing smoothly and you're not accenting. When you first glance at the music, you may be a little confused about which hand plays which notes. So the right hand plays the stems that are pointing up and the left hand takes the down stem notes. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Make sure to write in some fingering for yourself on the first day. Good fingering will help you to play this piece clean and fast and even. So I recommend that on this theme that you're going to hear throughout, I would use 4-2-1 in the left hand on these triads. That's a stronger finger combination than 5-3-1. 5-3-1 might feel a little bit weak there. And then the right hand, you can do 2-4. So 2-4, 4, 2-4. So every time you see the theme, that's a basic good fingering. At bar 9, the right hand will be slightly different. So you'll continue to do 4-2-1. But in the right hand here, you'll use 1-3, then cross over with a 2, just because the black keys are different here. So 1-3, cross over 2, and then go back to your 4s. 2-4. Play is like bars 14 and 16. In the left hand, I would use 1 and 4, 1 and 5. Those are just moving down by half steps, and a fourth finger on the black key is going to feel more comfortable. And then at bar 26, again, use 1 and 4, 1 and 5. And then try to use fingering that helps you to stay in position as long as possible. So if I am here at 1 and 5, my 2 is sitting on the F. So I just shift my thumb down, 1 and 5. My 2 is ready to go. I just have to shift my thumb down. Then 1 and 4 here will help me shift into the next chord. And then just use a 4 there since I'm already in position for that. The transition from 24 to 25 is always problematic for students, so some good fingering should help you. I recommend crossover with a 2, and then shift to a 2 here, 4, and make sure you lift your elbow a little bit. That will help you with the crossovers. So stay relaxed, keep your shoulders down. A quick pause to remind you to click the like button if you're getting value, and subscribe if you'd like to see more piano lesson videos like this. We appreciate you helping us grow. While we're on the topic of problem areas, I'd like to show you some strategies to overcome common technical challenges in this piece. Let's first talk about the turn. You're going to start with a D and then go up. Make sure your elbow stays out and relax your hand as you play faster. Every student that plays this struggles with the accuracy at bar 30. So keep that elbow out. If you have this down, it's going to feel really uncomfortable and stretchy. So get that elbow up, and then you'll see that I use a little wrist. And you want to know the notes really well here. So this is just a C minor triad. And this is a B diminished triad. You can practice this in solid chords. That'll help you to get comfortable with the stretch between fingers. And then you could also practice it with a rhythm. Another tricky spot is the transition from bar 28 to 29. The right hand has to jump really quickly, a pretty far distance. So you need to know the notes that you're going to jump to really well. So jump it quickly, know the notes, and then your left hand, another problem is the hands getting caught. So put your left hand closer to the fall board and your right hand closer to the edges of the keys. So I'm going to shift my right hand quickly, and my left hand is going to come up here to the fall board. Let's backtrack a little bit. At the beginning theme, over time you might notice some unevenness in your playing, especially in your left hand. So I recommend using a little bit of wrist motion. Be really flexible in your wrists. So as I play it faster, I really continue that wrist motion in my left hand, not as much in my right hand, but here I get my elbow up because I'm playing higher, and then it also helps me with the crossover on the scale. Here, continue that wrist motion. The left hand is always difficult for students. These arpeggios, so just play really lightly here. It sounds sweeter, so you don't have to play loud here. And also pencil in the chords. So this is just a C minor triad, and then we go into F minor, and then we go to a B flat major, and then E flat major. So if you know chords, you know how to identify chords, writing them in will help you to get to know this piece faster and also memorize it. And that'll also help you to feel less tension. If you're really confident with the notes, you'll feel less tension as you're playing it. And then another pattern at the beginning, Notice that line 1 is the same as line 2. The notes are just shifted up. And write in the chords if you can. So this is C minor, then it goes into G major, and then back to C minor, then a D scale. At bar 9, you got G minor, D major. Bar 21, this is just an F minor triad in inversions. Most pianists struggle to play this piece fast and even. Some variety in your practice sessions should help. So try some staccato practice. And you could try some rhythms. This helps you to practice that transition from left to right, because you have to quickly shift from left to right. You could also try. So it's important to not push too fast too soon. Master the evenness at a slow and medium tempo before you start to increase the speed, and be really conscious about staying relaxed. Now let's talk about how to play this piece expressively. I want to first talk about articulation. So I notice a lot of students hold keys down, especially after they know the chords. But we want to connect the notes from one note to the next. But we just don't want to hold any keys down. We want to play one note at a time and get clean, clear articulation in this piece. And when you get to here, remember not to accent. You could experiment with some two-note slurs here. In many editions, you'll notice some staccatissimo markings, but here, staccatissimo means to play shorter, more crisp than a regular staccato, but because this is a big, powerful part, I like to play the left hand a little bit longer and then bring in the staccatissimo here on the quiet part. This is a great place for some dynamic contrast. You could hear how I was going back and forth between forte and piano. I encourage you to experiment with the dynamics. So you'll notice that the theme here that we keep talking about, I do this a little differently every time I play the theme, and it depends on what material is following it. So here, I like to play that part quiet, so I do a decrescendo at bar 4 into it. At the beginning, I like to gradually crescendo into bar 4. Then on the next time I hear the theme, I like to crescendo into sort of sound. There's a variety of dynamics that you could try that would sound great here. You could decrescendo, or you could just suddenly be soft at bar 22. You could even do a crescendo here. So experiment. It's a great piece to experiment with dramatic dynamics. And at the end, I like to decrescendo and do a little tiny bit of a retard. You could also just play soft on the very last note. I hope you'll check out this playlist here that has my other complete lessons on the pieces in this book. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this lesson. Are there things that I need to cover more thoroughly or spend less time on? I appreciate your feedback.